Right. So to continue here, Manish, when they say at that rate means we're going to do a cross multiplication thing. So since we're going to cross multiply, we're trying to put things into the right order, where the right things under each other and everything. So we need to have, what's the rate? We are told that the 100 cubic inches are done in 1 second. That's the rate. So we need things in cubic inches and seconds as well to cross multiply by. So we have here the dimensions of the whole inflatable rectangular bed thing. We can get the volume using those dimensions. How do we get the volume of a rectangular block, اللي هو this inflatable bed? We multiply length times width times height. So we do 78 times 75 times 5. If we multiply these three together, this would get you the volume of the bed. So on a calculator, 78 times 75 times 5, that's 29,250. We need, this is in cubic inches, so this will be put under the cubic inches, and we need to know how many seconds will that take. So we'll cross multiply here. We'll do 29250 times 1 and then divided by 100. And that should be 292.5, which when approximated, it would become 293, which is J. So again, mainly what we did is we got the volume of the inflatable bed, and then using this volume and the rate that were given, we started using or putting the inches, the cubic inches, تحت cubic inches, to get to know the seconds that it will take for that air pump to fill the inflatable air bed. Does that kind of make sense? All right. So moving on. It says here Jake wants to build a scale model of his house. The house is 48 feet long, 32 feet wide, and it is 30 feet tall at the highest point. Jack wants to model the model to be 8 inches long. So how wide in inches should his model be? This is still a cross multiplication question again. So we have 48 in regarding the length thing, we have 32 regarding the width thing, and we have 30 regarding the height. Now he needs to change the length from 48 to 8. So what would be the width in this case? So I'll cross multiply. It's 8 times 32 divided by 48. Again on a calculator. That would get you 5.3, which is 5/1/3, B. Any problems there? It says here, you see a circle graph in a newspaper article about students' employment, but no percentages are given for the sectors. You want to use the information contained in the graph in a report for your sociology class. You measure the central angle of the sector titled Work During the Week with your protractor, and it measures 144 degrees. According to the circle graph and your measurement, the work during the week sector is what percent to the nearest percent of the circle graph. So what percent? It's mainly wanted over total. So what's the wanted? It's the part for, yes, it's the part for the work during the week, which is mainly 144 over the total. What's the total degrees of a full circle? It's 360. So we just need to do that. 144 divided 360, and then whatever comes out will multiply by 100 in order to change it to a percentage. So the answer would come out as 40% right away. Is that clear? Moving to 15. Josiah stands on level ground 15 feet from the base of a cliff. The angle of elevation from where Josiah is standing to the top of the cliff is 50, as shown below. Which of the following values is closest to the height in feet of the cliff? So they need this measure here. And you're already given a hint here, sines or cosines or tans. And I told you that before, and whenever we have a right triangle and we're trying to link between angles and sides, then we have to use sine, cosine, and tan. So you ask yourself, what's the relationship between this angle given, here 50, and the wanted, and the given as well, which is the 15. So the 15 is considered the adjacent to this angle. And this side here is considered the opposite to this angle, while this side is the hypotenuse. So which trigonometric ratio includes the adjacent and the opposite? It's definitely the tan. The tan of any angle whatsoever is supposed to be equals to the opposite over the adjacent. So tan of the angle 50 is supposed to be equals to the opposite that I don't know over the adjacent, which is 15. If I'm trying to find the value of x, I'll move this 15 to the other side by multiplication. So I'll have 15 times tan 50 equals to x. You're already told here that tan 50 is equals to 1.2. So this means that x is equals to 15 times 1.2, which I think is 18, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it's 18. Does this make sense, everyone? Yes, يا حبيبي.
بس هو أنا واقفة لغاية حتة tan 50 over x over لأ ثانية واحدة equals ل x over 15 بعد كده نسيت بعمل ايه عشان كده جبتها غلط.
So what happens بعد كده انك you're trying to solve this as an equation عادي. بقى عندي x هي اللي انا عايز اعرفها، فبشوف ال 15 بتعمل ايه هنا times divided، فتروح الناحية التانية بالtimes and you start solving as an equation. ما بقى دي حاجة من الحاجات اللي لو كنت فاكرة كنا بنقولها كتير المرة اللي فاتت، بنعملها في الأول خالص، إن tan 50 دي على بعضها حتة واحدة كده. شور؟ على إيه يا قمر؟ طيب. Consider the line 3x minus 4y equals to 6 in the standard xy coordinate plane. For the point on this line with x coordinate equals to 3, what's the y coordinate? So they give you the x equals to 3. Substitute that into the equation itself, and you put 3 instead of the x minus 4y equals to 6. This will get you 9 minus 4y equals to 6. The 9 then needs to move to the other side, so I'll have negative 4y equals to negative 3. Then the negative 4 will move to the other side by division, which then will give you the y coordinate as positive 3 over positive 4, because the negatives will cross each other. So the answer here is H. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Awesome. Let's move to 17. It says, what is the solution to the equation x squared minus x equals to 12? We said before, whenever we have x squared and x power 1, we move everything to one side and make it equals to 0. So I'll move the 12 to the other side and make it equals to 0. This is then a quadratic equation which could be easily solved using mode 5-3, or just by recognizing هما two numbers اللي multiplied will get me 12. And added or subtracted would give me 1. So the 3 and 4 definitely. This one should be the negative one. This one should be the positive one, which then would give you on a calculator x equals negative 3 and x equals positive 4. The calculator would get you this right away. Mentally, you can do this step first, and then from this step, get to this one as well, which means that the answer is B. Does this make sense? Yes, yeah.
مش ايه
No. Did you try it on a calculator?
أيوة بس مثلا لازم إن احنا نغير الساينز.
طيب هو 1 ونيجاتيف 1 ونيجاتيف 1. طيب ما هي النيجاتيف لأ، أنا أغير الساينز لو أحطها في براكتس، يعني لو أنا اللي هرجعها في براكتس، بس أنا عايز الإكس فاليوز نفسها بكام، سو هم دول. لو هحطهم في براكتس زي هنا كده، دي هي دي اللي ساعتها بصي الساينز بتاعتها مقلوبة، سو بدل النيجاتيف 3 بحطها بوزيتيف 3، وبدل بوزيتيف 4 بحطها نيجاتيف 4. سو لما يكونوا محطوطين از فاكتورز هي دي اللي بحط بعكس الساين، بس solutions او اكس انترسبتس او زيروز او كده زي ما هم.
ماشي اوكي. Thank you.
على اي حاجة. The vertices of the triangle PQR are given in the standard XY coordinate plane. What is the area of the PQR? So you think, what's the area of any triangle? It is supposed to be half times base times height. Apparently, when you look at this triangle, I can't consider anyone else the base except this one. So this one now is my base, and this here is my height. When you look at the base, you can just get the length of the base using the y coordinates. لأن ال r ال y coordinate بتاعتها 3 وال p ال y coordinate of it is 11. So this would give you a difference of from 3 to 11, that's an 8. So this base is 8. Now regarding this height, this line has an x coordinate of 5, while this point here has x coordinate of 8. So from 5 to 8, that's a difference of 3. So the distance of this one is 3. So the area is half times the base, which is 8, times the height, which is 3. So the area is 12. How is that? This one? Awesome. Yes, yeah, Omar.
It's just that I did the same thing because I think I either added a step or removed a step because I got 6.
Is it 3 and 8 as well?
I got the 8 with 3, so.
No. Then you miscalculated it. Just put half times 8 times 3 on a calculator. Because if you got the base and the height right, then no mistakes. Unless حتى probably you did half twice. That's why, but I don't know why. يعني. It's just if you do on a calculator exactly as it's written here with the brackets, it should get you the one.
I did the height by half, then I did the whole thing by half again.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, thanks.
Most welcome. 19. In the standard xy coordinate plane, a line intersects the y-axis at 0 and 2. So the place where the line intersects the y-axis 0 and 2, this is what we call على طول the y-intercept. So it seems like we have the y-intercept and it's 2. And it contains the point 8 and 5. What is the slope of the line? The slope is just, you need y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And apparently you have those. So it's 5 minus 2 over 8 minus 0, which is 3 over 8. That's the slope of that line, which is 8. Any questions here? Perfect. Number 20. One of the following values for A makes the expression this undefined. Type. When, which one? So, when would an expression be undefined? لما امتى يبقى fraction بالذات undefined؟ لما يكون ال denominator بتاعه بزيرو. Whenever any fraction in the world has a denominator that's equals to 0, this is an undefined fraction. So هو بيسأل when would this be undefined? It would be undefined if this اللي هو a squared plus 1 was equals to 0. If it became equals to 0, it would be undefined. So let's try to find the value of a that would make this equals to 0. We will move the 1 to the other side and I'll have a squared equals to negative 1. Then in order to remove the power of 2, I'll square root the other side. What's the square root of negative 1? It is supposed to be math error or undefined. But then when you look at the choices, one of the choices here is I. And that is the definition of I. I is actually square root negative 1. So then K is the correct answer in this one. Are we good? 5 minutes. Solve please P5 in exactly 5 minutes. Since we just did the questions on the remainder last class, would someone care to share with me like what they had in mind for question 21 specifically? Anyone? مفيش صح وغلط. Just tell me whatever you had in mind. Yeah, go ahead.
I tried to divide 24 بال5 لا ثانية واحدة 24 بال7
Okay.
قعدت أقرب فيهم شوية بس غلط.
ماشي، ما الفكرة بقى بتجربي يطلع ايه؟ يعني انت لو عملتي 24 divided by 7 على كالكوليتر هيطلع لك 3.4. ده مش بيفهمني حاجة، بس لو عايز تعرفي الريميندر ايه لازم تحوليها لميكست فراكشن. يعني تعملي شيفت اس دي هيديكي ده 3 and then 3 over 7. ده الريميندر اللي فوق هنا، هو ده الريميندر. So is it true ان انا لما بعمل الرقم اللي هو ده divide by 7 الريميندر، لا المفروض كان يبقى divide by 5 مش divide by 7 يا كارل، فاهمه؟ هو قال اصلا divide by 5. So هو قال لي عندك 2 لا سوري، هو divide by 9 كمان. عندي 2 things that I'm going to divide by، مرة divide by 5 ومرة divide by 9. لما أعمل divide by 5 الريميندر المفروض يكون 3، ولما أعمل divide by 7 سوري by 9 الريميندر المفروض يكون 7. فأنا هجرب 24 divide by 5 وهجرب 24 divide by 9 وأشوف في الحالتين بيطلع لي الريميندرز اللي هو بيقول عليهم ولا لأ. أجرب إزاي؟ أنا أعمل 24 divide by 5 واللي هيطلع أدوس shift SD عشان يكتبه لي as a mixed fraction. هيطلع لي 4 over 5. This is the remainder. الريميندر ده ب 4 while هو قايل لي ان المفروض لما اعمل divide by 5 الريميندر يكون 3. So خلاص A is not the right choice على طول. There is no need ان انا اجرب ال 9 خالص. هجرب ال 35. 35 divide by 5 actually بتطلع ب 7، يعني ملهاش ريميندر. مش decimal. So اكيد مش B ولا D by the way because 45 divide by 5 برضه هتطلع ب decimal. So هجرب ال 43. 43 divide by 5 على calculator برضه and then shift SD هيطلع لي 8 3 over 5. الريميندر هنا 3 زي ما هو قال هنا 3. good. يبقى هجرب بقى دلوقتي divide by 9. ف 43 divide by 9 وبعدين برضو again shift SD هيطلع لي 4 و 7 over 9. So this remainder here is 7 زي ما هم قالوا. So it's true. So it's definitely C فعلا هي صح. Better that's what you did صح؟ Yara, you had a question. I'm sorry I just noticed.
It's okay. What I did, فهمت the question, but I forgot the part about the remainder. I thought of the biggest common multiple. It's 9 and 5, which is 45. فاخترتها as a consider the remainder.
هي دي بقى الفكرة كمان. يعني انت بتقولي ده صح قوي، بس هي فكرة ان الريميندر actually يعني it exists when it's not multiples. المultiples don't have remainders of each other because they're divisible. بس the remainder means ان هما they're not divisible and there is a few things that remained when you divide it. فاهمة؟
Well, if I remembered about the remainder, I would have thought about I would have chosen 43.
من الأول.
It's not 45 and that's the bigger number. So 43 out of 40.
True. Makes perfect sense. برافو. طيب حلو. Let's try and go for 22. The two warning signs begin flashing at the same time. One sign flashes every 3 seconds, the other sign flashes every 8 seconds. How many seconds elapse from the moment the two signs flash at the same time until they next flash at the same time? Do you guys remember I did solve this with you قبل كده? Emily especially and Bella, because I remember you were in that class, but I'm not sure if the rest were there. Do you guys remember that? Emily and Bella? Yeah, right, we saw something similar. طب do you remember how we did that before? We said there's a thing كده. Any of you remember how this is done? Would you please share it with us كده? Least common multiple is one of them, yes. What else? Anyone else? Anything else? 100%. So we need a number that we could divide by 8 and divide by 3 at the same time. لو حاجة بتفلاش every 3 seconds and بتفلاش every 8 seconds, then the timing when both flash must be divisible by 3 or divisible by 8. If you check in numbers 5 أكيد مش divisible by 8 ولا 3. So ما تنفعش ولا 5.5 ولا 11, it's a prime number. The 12 is not divisible, it's divisible by 3 but it's not divisible by 8. So it's definitely the 24. 24 is divisible by 8 and divisible by 3. So this means that they'll be lighting at the same time at 24 seconds. Does that kind of make sense? Should we move to the next? Let me check if I can quickly get the other question that we saw before. And no, I'm sorry. Okay, let's work on 23. In 23, it says there's set A, B, and C. A number will be randomly selected from set A. What is the probability that the selected number will be an element of set B and an element of set C? Probability. So the probability is always wanted over total. What is the wanted? It's the wanted that for a number in set A to be available in B and C. How many numbers are available in B and C as well وavailable موجود في B أو C وموجود في A. عندي ال 1 موجودة وال 2 موجودة وال 4 موجودة. The only things that are not available are the 3 and the 5. So there is a total of 5 numbers that are available in elements B and C. Sorry, 4 numbers because the 2 is repeated twice. We don't count it twice. So it's the 1, 2, 4, and 6. Total of 4 numbers. Over the total, how many elements are in set A? There are 6 numbers. So the probability here is 4 over 6, which is simplified as 2 over... Oh, لا خلاص 4 over 6 as it is. They did not simplify it. Does this make sense? Okay, moving on to 24. What rational number is exactly halfway between this and that? We did lots of those before. Halfway means exactly in the middle. It means we need the midpoint. So on a calculator, the midpoint between anything, we just add them and we divide them by 2. So please, أنا undo it خلاص. 3 over 16 plus 7 over 32. That's 13 over 32, which is G. This one is easy, right? Yes, يا حبيبي.
بس هو أنا عملتها غلط بس أنا مش شايفة هي ليه غلط.
عملتي
أنا
ايه؟
جربت actually على number line ورحت عشان ما اتلخبطش رحت حطيتهم على بالديسيمال مش as a fraction يعني
ماشي.
ولقيتها إنها صح.
أيوة يعني صح اللي أيوة how did you know إنها صح؟ يعني 13 over 64 هتطلع ب 0.203 مش عارف ايه و 3 over 16 هتطلع ب 0.18 و 7 over 32 هتطلع ب 0.21. طب مين قال إن 0.20 دي في النص ما بين 0.18 و 0.21؟ مش في النص بالظبط، هي ما بينهم بس it's not halfway. هي مش exactly in the middle. احنا عايزين رقم مش مسألة رقم يكون موجود ما بينهم وخلاص، لا رقم في النص بالظبط ما بينهم. يعني مثلا لو أنا بتكلم ما بين 2 and 7 مثلا، أو بلاش 7 ولا ماشي 2 3 4 5 6 and 7 كل أو بلاش خلينا في 2 and 6 ماشي 2 and 6 ما بين 2 and 6 في 3 و4 و5. طب ايه النمبر exactly halfway between 4 sorry 2 and 6 4 هو ده اللي halfway بالظبط. اجيبها ازاي؟ ان انا اعمل 2 plus 6 over 2 which would come out as 8 over 2 which is 4. so اللي انت عملتيه it works لو انا بسأل على ايه الرقم اللي ما بينهم وخلاص، بس مش halfway بالظبط. فهمتي الفكرة؟ بس لو عايز تعملي بيهم ديسيملز ماشي، مشيهم كلهم ديسيملز. انت عندك ده يطلع واحد ب 0.18 والتاني 0.21، فانا عايز حاجه في النص بالظبط برضو ما بينهم. يعني انا عايز حاجه تكون على الاقل 0.19 حاجه. شو لو عملتها على الكالكوليتر 30 over 32 هيطلع، لا برضو ما تنفع. لا بلاش، خلينا في الاديشن، بلاش ديسيمل، خلينا في الاديشن بلس بعض over 2 خلاص. اوكي most welcome يا عمر. ال 25 this is a circle and you're told that the center is -3 and 4. It's tangent to the y-axis. What is the area of the circle? So in order to get the area of any circle, we remember the rule of the area of the circle, which is mainly pi r to the power of 2. So apparently اللي محتاجه هو ال r, radius. Look at this. Look at this point. Apparently distance d is considered the radius. طب هي distance دي كام؟ هي الاكس coordinate بتاعت البوينت دي، يعني هي هنا على الاكس بنيجاتيف 3. So من اول 0 لحد نيجاتيف 3 يعني الديستنس دي قد ايه؟ 3. So the radius is كام؟ 3. So the area is كام؟ pi 3 squared, which is 9 pi. This is the answer for 25. Does that kind of make sense? عشان خاطر